welcome back. Episode 64 of the Purple Rain podcast, the Edwin Mulatalo episode, the John Urschel episode, and the training camp episode. Oh, we have football news. Thankfully. But how are you doing today, son?
Hey, man, I am doing great. Big shout out to everybody who's watching and or listening to the Purple Rain podcast, episode 64 right now, the Nintendo episode, Nintendo 64. Big shout out to you guys watching. Like I said, make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Right above my head up here is a QR code that you can scan. Will take you to our official Instagram page at the Purple Rain podcast. Like I said, this is episode 64. We got quite a bit to talk about tonight. Quite a lot has gone down. Yeah, there's been some news since the last time that we saw you guys. But real quick, we got to give a big shout out to everybody who's in the live stream chat right now. We got a guy, Mod Ramey, in the house. What's up, Ramey? How you doing, man? Mod K-Dog in the house coming through. Says, yo, what's good on this Friday Eve, Rain Gang family? Mod K-Dog, we appreciate you for coming through. J Prime 235, always coming through supporting. We appreciate you, man. Andre Mears 86, same thing. What's up, Rain Gang? Click one in the house. Joseph Baker, what's good? Oh man, you guys are all in here. Ryan is in the house. Let's see. We got Hamid Perry says, my first time in the live. I was hashtag replay gang. Okay, yeah. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the Rain Gang. I know you're a replay gang. All you guys who are watching after the fact, hashtag replay gang, make sure you leave that in the comments. But make sure you catch the live sometime. Join the official Rain Gang. Catch the live stream. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Let's see what else we have here from you guys. Majin Bull in the house. Edward George. We see you. All right. Alex.
Yes.
Let's not mince words. Let's just get right down to it. The most pressing topic at hand, the most pressing matter at hand right now for us Ravens fans is that Lamar Jackson has COVID. Again.
Our QB1, our MVP, our best player.
COVID has struck Lamar Jackson for the second time. So my question to you, Alex, and to the entire Rain Gang, before we take a little deep dive into this whole situation, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about Lamar Jackson having COVID a second time?
Oh my goodness. It's really not that big of a deal. Like, people are making it as like the man's about to die. Like, he's going to miss some crucial time at training camp. But it's kind of a win-win. Like, we have a QB2 competition, and Trace and Tyler can just go at it. So I'm actually not like too upset about it. Obviously, it sucks, but we still have preseason. We still have more practices. But yeah, people are making it to be more than it actually is, which is kind of annoying. You feel the same way?
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way too. But this is like the second time in how many months that Lamar has had COVID? When was the last time he had it?
He had it last December.
December. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been about 7 months since he's had COVID the last time. And I don't know, man. It's kind of scary because like it seems like he's one of those guys who he doesn't want to get vaccinated. And I think the last thing that we would want happen as Ravens fans, or just as football fans, just because we love seeing Lamar Jackson play, is to see him miss time in the regular season, say like, later in the November, the December. Who's to say? We never know what could happen. So it's like, it's kind of concerning in that way. But I do get what you're saying as well. Like, at the end of the day, like, he's going to be fine. It's not like an actual threat to Lamar Jackson. As most of us know, the general consensus on COVID is that, if you are like young, you're healthy, you keep your body in shape, you catch that, you'll probably be fine. We know Lamar Jackson will probably be fine with COVID. But it's just a matter of, seeing him miss time possibly during the season, which would suck. So I understand both sides.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's better than it happens training camp than what? Let's say it's week 15, 14, 13 against the Browns. Like, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But, I mean, he also has to take a little bit of responsibility for where he's at. I mean, you had all the summer, too. So I can see both sides, too. But it's a very thin line of what we can say.
Right.
Because it can get misconstrued, unfortunately. And actually, there was some beat writers who said some pretty irresponsible stuff. Jamison Hensley and Mike Preston, both of them. And they got the slack that they deserve. Just kind of pointing this at his character. It's not a character issue, bro. Like, I just don't get the hate now towards Lamar. It's very just uncalled for.
What did they say? I didn't see that.
They said, like, there was an emoji. Oh, let me pull it up because
Yeah.
Jamison Hensley, I lost a lot of respect because he had an article today, and the thumbnail cover for it was Lamar literally laying on the ground with a concussion against the Bills. Yeah,
What?
yeah, it was really
Yes.
bad, and
This is on Twitter.
yeah, and Sarah Ellison called him out, but he deleted the tweet unfortunately. So if I could just get
Uh,
the words that he used,
yeah.
he was like there was emoji for like how to call some stuff. It was just really stupid, and these
Mm,
guys are like professionals. Wasn't professional from that anyway. So
yeah. Let's see. Let's take a couple of comments from the Rain Gang here. See what you guys are saying. Make sure you see what K Dog said there. Smash that like button if you haven't already. If you just came through, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Let's see. Adeep Mahmood says, "How come people are making a big deal of Lamar but aren't talking about how the Washington football team is only 50% fully vaccinated with Ron Rivera going through what he went through?" That's a good point too. That's a good point too. I think that the media is going to always make a big deal out of anything Lamar Jackson does because of who Lamar Jackson is. He is that player that, you tune into Monday Night Football to watch him. You tune in on Sunday Night Football or whenever to watch Lamar Jackson. He's that type of star. So, anything that he does, any little thing, they're always going to put a magnifying glass over it and try to, pick it apart. So I think that's why, the Washington football team, they're a little bit more low key of a franchise, especially at this point right now. As opposed to the Ravens. So I think that's probably why. But that is a good point, Adit. They should be more, it should be a higher vaccination percentage on the Washington football team, especially considering Ron Rivera's health risks.
so real quick, here was what James Hensley said. He said, "What's the emoji for utter disappointment? What's the emoji for buzzkill? What's the emoji for frustration? Because a fan tweeted Lamar, like, I'm coming from LA to come see you, and like he can't see him now." And Lamar tweeted out 5 heartbreak emojis. James Hensley like low key was just like making fun of it, mocking him. So that right there was just super unprofessional. That's kind of why like he deserved a lot of the backlash he got. And Sarah Ellison kind of just was like SMH, like really, like you're going to turn into a character issue, as if you didn't get enough criticism as it was now.
Right. And I don't understand, like Jamison Hensley, he works for ESPN, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, covers the Ravens, obviously. I don't I don't understand like why this is. It would seem like Jameson Hensley, this is like your home team. Like, why come for the home squad? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that really. Why are you throwing
And like
underhanded
now
shade at
his
Lamar Jackson?
own people are going against him. So that's
Right,
lovely.
right. Like, I don't. It just doesn't make sense because you're probably gonna have to see Lamar Jackson again. Well, I know he's gonna have to see him again, and I feel like it's probably gonna be awkward. Because I'm sure Lamar probably feels the same way, right?
I mean, if what they should do is just take away his press pass and give it to somebody that actually like would care. Because I
Yeah,
don't
like
care if it's
somebody like
ESPN or
us
anything
for
like
sure.
that. Yeah, that right there, like I don't care if you're ESPN. That was just idiotic. That
Yeah,
I just so
yeah.
stupid, man. So stupid.
Yeah, let's see. Our guy Ramey says maybe this is a lesson learned for all parties involved, and we got a lot of heavy advocates for the vaccine in the organization, but who knows? Yeah, my thing is, and a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, are you pro-vax? Are you anti-vax? Or are you pro-choice?" I'm definitely pro-choice, but with choices comes consequences. So it's like if you decide that you're going to be that one or two players that's not going to get vaccinated, especially if you're an impact player on your team, like a DeAndre Hopkins, like a Lamar Jackson, like some of these other guys, then it probably would be in your best interest, especially if you are that obsessed with winning, that obsessed with getting to the Super Bowl, winning a championship, that sort of thing. It probably would be in the best interest to get vaccinated, but I don't know, man. To each his own. Like I said, I'm pro-choice, but maybe this is a lesson learned, just like Ramey said. All right, let's see. Moving right along here. Yeah. Ramey follows that up and says, and Lamar has always been respectful towards Jamison Hensley from what it sounds like, always calling him Mr. Jameson at pressers and little polite things such as that. Yeah, that's another good point. So it's like, why would you be trying to throw shade at him? I
And then he
don't
just turns his
understand that.
back on him.
Yeah,
That's lovely. Thanks.
yeah,
Thanks, Jameson.
right.
That's my jest.
so so that is that. Like I said, the silver lining in this whole thing is that at least he's catching it now as opposed to maybe 2 months from now or something like that. That's the silver lining, but not too much of a concern for us Ravens fans. I think Lamar Jackson will be just fine. All right. So we're going to go ahead and move right along from there. Not too much to talk about on that situation, but listen, the biggest news of this week, to me at least, well, not really news, but just kind of developments. Training camp is now underway. Training camp is now officially underway in Owings Mills, Maryland. And I am super excited because we've seen so many promising things already. And my guy Simply AS10 over here, he took his time, chop up a video of what the Ravens put out earlier. And we're going to actually put that on the screen for you guys so you guys can see it. But there's been a lot of good things that I've seen so far. So we're going to talk about our biggest takeaways and standouts from training camp so far. Alex, I want to start with you, and make sure you guys in the chat room, make sure you guys put in there what you think your biggest takeaways are so far from training camp and things like that. It's Purple Rain Podcast, episode 64. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this video. You guys can see.
So right now,
Guys are looking good, man.
It's the receiver, the competition. There's it's not just Crochet and Boykin anymore. I think it's, let me get his name, but there's one of our guys who's I think undrafted. And he's been making a lot of splash plays, I've heard. I just want to clarify it real quick.
Was it Westry?
I saw him too. I don't believe it was Westry. Where's it at? Oh, Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore. He's been making plays, and they said he looks like a viable threat. It's no way, it's not just Crochet and Boykin anymore. We actually have another, what we call it, contestant, I would say, or just competitor. I think Boykin's actually going to get cut. I'm going to be honest with you. First 2 days, have we heard about him? Have we heard about anything about Boykin?
We haven't. We have not. And it's funny you say that because our guy Ramy just put in the chat, says Boykin has had 2 rough days in a row. And I see everybody else saying Jalen Moore has been balling. Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, but I think the only way he can save his job is if he turns to a tight end or if he wants to. That's the only way, I think.
But is that really fair to Miles Boykin, though? Because, we say that, he might be on the bubble of getting cut or whatever, or not making the roster, but he had some pretty solid production last season.
I think fans, too, he wasn't training with anybody. We didn't see it. I mean, all the receivers were linking up. We didn't see anything about him. I think that's where the frustration comes.
Is there just, I don't know, is there just something that, we're missing here with Miles Boykin? Because why hasn't he worked out with any of the other guys in the offseason? Why hasn't he, or at least why haven't we heard about him linking up with other guys in the offseason to try to get better? It's just kind of like he's just there. He just exists on our roster. And sometimes it feels like that on the field, too. But
it feels like he never gives 100%. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? Honestly.
That's a fair assessment. I could agree with that. I could definitely agree with that. But yeah, man. And even that's hard to say. Because we know Miles Boykin, he works really hard. He's worked really hard to get where he is now. But it just seems like translating it onto the field. Yes, I just said he has production, pretty decent production, but we don't really ever see anything that shows us real promise from Miles Boykin. I think that's the problem. He just kind of is there, like I said. So, yeah, maybe he is on the bubble.
He's just existing. That's what he's doing.
It's existing. Let's see. Ramy follows it up. He says, I was at the first day practice. Boykin had a really rough drop. It's only been 2 days, and he offers a lot in terms of run blocking. I also feel Harbaugh really likes him. Yeah, that's one thing. He is a really good blocker. One of the best blocking receivers in the league, probably. So I think that, that's probably one reason why we'll probably keep him around. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like you said, with the emergence of guys like Jalen Moore, Crochet, I heard Crochet had a really good day today, too. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Very good.
Yeah, Boykin, he's definitely going to have to step up his game. Man. And like we said, preseason is where we're really going to get to see who is going to make this final roster and who isn't. We're really going to know by then. So, but what were some other standouts for you?
Oh, Hollywood. I'm everybody that was talking shit about Hollywood, please shut the hell up. First day, I mean, I'm telling you right, he's been a breakout, and I've been saying it, we've been saying it, it's gonna happen, and he just showed it. I know he left early today, but yesterday he was just burning people. I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. You can correct me. I wasn't there. But
Hmm.
I know he just had
I
big
think he had
plays, and
two.
that's all. That's what we're asking from him. Big plays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right. But at the same time, Alex, are we saying that Hollywood's going to be our number one, our wide receiver one?
I've been saying it.
Mm.
He's our wide receiver one, man. 100%. 100%.
Certified.
Certified, stamp it. Quote me.
Okay.
I don't care. Certified. Wide receiver
All
one.
right.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Bryce H says Hollywood's going for over 1K yards this season, over 1,000 yards. Okay? All right, all right. I mean, I like it. I definitely have like what I've seen from Hollywood Brown as well so far in training camp. Again, though, I think that it's going to be really, really important to see what these guys do in the preseason. Of course, we won't see a whole lot of Hollywood Brown at all
Yeah.
in the preseason. Maybe like a possession or two, that sort of thing. But I just want to see him get active. I just want to see him with pads on, get active, because we know that, like, of course, and he was held out of practice today because I think he's dealing with some sort of muscle issue somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I
I mean, it
heard, yeah,
wasn't serious. It's not
yeah,
serious.
wasn't serious, but I definitely, when we do know that Hollywood is still a little bit undersized, to be kind of like that X wide receiver one type guy. So we'll definitely see, and I think he's gotten a lot better, but yeah, like I said, we'll see. We'll see. I have faith. I have faith in Hollywood Brown. But all right, I will let you know some of my biggest takeaways, though. My biggest
Go
takeaways
for it.
were honestly my guy Odafe Owe and Dalen Hayes. I heard some really good things about them in training camp, especially day 2. I know that Odafe Owe, they said that he had a really good move that he put on Alejandro Villanueva to get past him and get to the quarterback. I heard
Yeah.
Jalen Ferguson also beat Alejandro Villanueva, which is kind of concerning.
No, very
I'm
concerning.
like,
Very concerning.
I don't know how many guys Villanueva is going to get beat by, especially if he's getting beat by Jalen Ferguson.
Miles Garrett, TJ Watt.
Oh
Boy, it's
God,
gonna be
yeah. We might have to plug and play Tyree Phillips over there at right tackle. We never know. I don't know. Never know. We'll see about that. But like I said, man, I think especially like guys like Odafe Owe, Jonas Schaefer had tweeted today, like he said, he had a really sweet spin move that he put on Alejandro Villanueva to get free. I like to see that sort of thing, like the creativity. I think it's in this video here that we're watching. Maybe not though. Actually, no, I don't think it's in this video. But there was some footage of Odafe Owe kind of just running drills. And he has a really, really quick first step. We know he's fast, but just having that quick first step is kind of like, it's everything. It's everything in, playing that edge position. And it's kind of like a well-known thing that like in training camp, offensive tackles have the upper hand in those drills against the edge rushers. There's no pads or anything like that, and they kind of know exactly what's going to happen. But he's still making strides and showing that he can get free and get to the quarterback, which is very promising.
I'm getting very worried about Villanueva. Oh, boy.
Very worried. Yeah, now that says something, it's kind of like, dang, right?
Oh, boy.
Real quick, before we get to that, we do have a super chat donation coming in from our guy, the Joker. Says, he says, even though you can still get COVID if you're vaccinated, but for players, there's a difference. If you're vaccinated and get COVID, you miss 2 days. And if you're not vaccinated, you miss 10 days. Shout out to you guys, though. Thank you for your super chat donation to Joker. We appreciate you. And also
be responsible, too. That's a big thing. You got to be responsible.
Yeah.
Got to.
Definitely. Got to be responsible. Absolutely right, man. We appreciate you, Joker, for your super chat donation. All right. But yeah, man, Alejandro Villanueva getting beat multiple times in practice. That was a little bit worrying for me. I did want to show you guys a tweet that I saw earlier that was pretty interesting. It was from also Jonas Schaefer. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys here in a second. But yeah, man, it was basically just kind of like it was a tweet showing who got the better of who and a couple of like drills and stuff like that. And I found it pretty interesting. So if I could just show you guys here and you guys can see. So you can see some notable one-on-one pass rush duels during a line drill today. Jonas Schaefer tweets, Villanueva got the best of Tyus Bowser trying to rush him. That's interesting. Zeitler actually got the best of Calais Campbell, which is even more interesting and promising. Ellis got the best of Bozeman on the snap, and then Bozeman got the best of Ellis, which is pretty, good back and forth. Makari and Matabike. going back and forth again, man. That's because they were just in
They
a little
had that little
scrap.
scrap in
Yeah.
mini camp.
Yeah. So now they're back at it, which is, that's pretty cool. And Makari got the best of Matabike. So yeah. No, I think that Matabike is definitely still going to have a really, really good season for sure. Of course, this doesn't mean, much of anything. We're still just kind of in the early stages, but it's worth something. It's worth something. And then you can see Ben Cleveland and Matabike were pretty much equal. That's pretty cool to know. Owe, like I said before, got the best of Villanueva. Tyree Phillips got the best of Jalen Ferguson. And then Dalen Hayes actually beat Makari on a play, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, what do you think about that, though? What's kind of like your biggest takeaway from that list there?
I'm going to go with Zeitler and Campbell because that's just two vets
Mm,
going at it.
yeah.
And I'm actually not too mad about that because Campbell was very good last year. And the fact that Zeitler came in and was able to hold him, that's actually pretty interesting
Yeah.
because it's making me like that signing even more.
Yeah. And that was like the first big signing that we made in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Amy said, "Did they have on pads today?" I don't think they had on pads today.
I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
too
I
sure.
don't think that they had on pads. But yeah, I thought this was very, very interesting. I also like a little silver lining down at the bottom. Dalen Hayes over Makari. If Dalen Hayes can come out and be an impact player, and it's actually true that we didn't need to draft or not draft, but sign a veteran pass rusher, and we can work with our young guys, hey man, we might be really dangerous. We might be really, really dangerous because you already see what Odafe Owe is doing in training camp. And Dalen Hayes, starting to kind of make some noise too. I don't know. I feel like pass rush, we might be good on it. What do you think?
Let's keep the hype down just so nobody
Keep
else
the hype
knows.
down.
Let them not know about Hayes. Let's just
Yeah.
shh. It was just 59. Shh. It was just blown
Yeah.
past you. Shh. But this makes me feel good, but then again, like it's only the first 2 days. Like
I know.
maybe Villanueva and Makari had a little extra meals to eat. Maybe they just didn't come in fully ready. But
Maybe.
I think we'll see more Saturday and then also preseason. I think preseason come week 2, I think then we can actually be like, okay, they look for real, or this looks doesn't look good. I think that's a
Yeah.
fair assessment because right now, I mean, you're just getting back up to speed,
Yeah.
probably fitness levels and all that too.
No, agreed. Let's see. One more thing too. I was actually watching the Sammy Watkins interview after, and he had very high praise for Rashad Bateman, our first round pick, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. He said he's a pro, he's doing everything right. The things that they throw at him, he handles it very well. So that's very promising news from Sammy Watkins about Rashad Bateman. I still think that Rashad Bateman could be the number one receiver. I really do. I think that he's exactly what we need in a receiver in terms of like being able to get open, being able to beat not only zone coverage, because that's what Lamar Jackson faces a lot, but also man coverage, because there's more man coverage when we get behind and we have to throw the football and they just kind of put a body on everybody. And Rashad Bateman can beat man coverage. We've seen it time and time again in Minnesota. I think it'll translate well to the league as well, especially working with guys like Keith Williams and T. Martin, which is a whole different story. I've heard they've been making impacts as well at training camp, but I really liked what I heard from Sammy Watkins about Rashad Bateman, man. I think Bateman will be probably one of our best receivers this season, if not the best.
I hope so. I mean, I when you mentioned that they go to man when we're behind,
Mm,
is it possible? Say we're behind, do we
yeah.
switch up our receivers? Like, do we put our best man receivers, on their best corners? Like, what do you think? Or like, could it be
I
like
mean,
situational?
yeah, I definitely think it's gonna be situational. Um, and if anything, there should be a healthy mix. I think that if we're down, say we're down 2 scores, and at this point we need to come back. It's like third quarter, late third quarter, whatever. I want Rashad Bateman on the field. I want Mark Andrews on the field. I want Sammy Watkins. I want Hollywood Brown, and I want Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, yeah.
I want those guys. I want those guys on the field.
And speaking of
So,
Duvernay, we haven't heard much of him either.
right. Yeah, we haven't heard much about Duvernay at
How's he
all,
been
which
looking? I
is
mean, I only saw they showed one catch from him, but I really just want to use if we can use him like the Niners use Debo Samuel.
yeah,
He's literally built for it, and we saw the jet sweeps last year, the little RPOs. Like, why can't we just use him more? I think
yeah.
he's like a hidden just gem on our team.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. Let's see. Ryan says Bateman reminds me of Derek Mason. Wow, throwback,
Ooh.
throwback receiver. Yeah, I don't know about Derek Mason. I'd have to look more into that. Go back and look at some Derek Mason tape again. I was actually watching an old game the other day, but I gotta watch some more of him.
Oh, speaking of old game, do you see the NFL Game Pass update?
No, I didn't. What happened?
It's terrible. They removed all games from 2008 to 2011. They
Whoa.
removed coaches' film. That's not on there. It's literally you can't search for a play anymore. It's the worst update I think I've ever seen for anything.
Wait,
It's
you
so
can't
bad.
look at the all 22?
Nope,
What?
it's not added yet, and they said it probably won't be ready for the first week of the season.
Yikes. Big
They just
yikes. Big
ruined so
yikes.
many YouTubers. So shout out to NFL Game Pass. Didn't need to change it, but you did. Thank you.
Bet you did. Let's see. Raimi says it is very important to keep Hollywood and Bateman together. I see these two being essential to each other's career. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Both young guys. I think they complement each other very well. You have somebody like a true route running technician and Rashad Bateman. Not to say that Hollywood Brown's route running is, average or anything like that, but Bateman is very good at running routes, like getting open, creating separation, things like that. And then, Hollywood's going to take the top off of a defense. You put those two things together, that is a secondary's nightmare. A
Yeah,
guy
and
who
then
can
we can
get
get
open. Right.
and then we can get Devontae Adams next year, right? I'm
Nah,
sorry.
man. Yeah, I don't see
Dreaming.
that.
Just dreaming.
Yeah, don't see that happening, my guy. But let's see. Moving on from that, see what else you guys have here in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. Also, hit the
Please.
subscribe button as well if you haven't already. Taquan Christian in the house says, "Yo, what's up, Rain Gang? Alex and Sutton. What's up, Taquan? How you doing tonight?"
Oh, also too, Josh Oliver. April brings it up. I saw he was actually looking pretty good too. I think Oliver is a stamp to make the team. Bold prediction.
Yeah,
Bold prediction. I think he's making the team. I think he'll be tight end to open the season. I don't think Nick Boyle will be ready. So I think it'll be probably Mark Andrews, Josh Oliver, Eric Tomlinson. Just my pre 53 man prediction.
yeah. And I'm not mad at that at all.
I'm actually
I'm not
excited
mad
for
at that
Josh
at all.
Oliver. I know he was like a
Right.
meme at some time, but like what I've heard about him and seen that people are saying, I'm actually getting excited because I think
Yeah,
this guy
you
was.
made like the 30-second video of his highlights when we signed him.
That's all of his catches. He had 3 catches in the NFL. That's all he had. But in college, like he looked nasty. It was a 3rd-round pick. I mean, Jacksonville really can't develop tight ends, hence why they signed a backup quarterback as a tight end.
Yeah.
So it's looking good. It's looking good.
Let's see. I got Click One says, just a quick question. Will I see you guys at the bank on Saturday?
I will be there.
Yes,
So will you.
I will be there as well. Yes, so you will see us at the bank on Saturday. So if y'all are pulling up, make sure you actually make sure you want to follow us on Twitter or Instagram so you can reach out to us. Maybe we can all link up or something like that. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can follow my guy Simply AS10 on Instagram or Twitter, or on Twitter at Simply AS10, and on Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. So make sure you guys follow us, and maybe we can link up on Saturday. Have a little Rain Gang meetup. But yeah. Boz says, like and subscribe. My Boz in the house.
Lied.
Shout out to
Never
you,
lied.
Boz. Never lied. Joshua Brown says, who are y'all ready to see for this year on the team?
Oh boy. Obviously, like the rookies. That's
Yeah.
an obvious. But I'm gonna try to, if Tavon Young can stay healthy, I'll go with that because he's a ball magnet. And I'll go with Marlon Humphrey too. I think there's been too much Marlon Humphrey disrespect out there. If that's a fair assessment to make. Between
Definitely
Madden,
a fair
Jalen Ramsey. I think in our
Definitely a fair
secondary,
assessment.
they'll only get better because we actually have a competent receiving core. So they have to, like, the level of play is stepped up. It's not like they're playing Chris Moore. They're not going against what was his name? The dude from 2018, White. He would return punts for us. He's undrafted. They're not going against these undrafted guys or like these 5th rounders like the what's his name? Jaleel Scott, Jordan Laz. Not going against them. They're going against Watkins, Hollywood, Bateman, Wallace, Crochet. They're going to get better too. So I think the secondary is going to be even better.
Yeah, I mean, definitely agree. The secondary is something I'm definitely looking forward to. But for me, I'm looking forward to these guys on the defensive line. I'm looking forward to seeing Justin Madubuike and what he can do this year, man. I think I said it like a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think Justin Madubuike can get like maybe 4 or 5 sacks this season, which would be pretty good. It would be pretty darn good. Um, so yeah, I definitely have him, and then probably as well J.K. Dobbins. I'm super
Yeah.
duper excited for J.K. Dobbins, man. And speaking of J.K. Dobbins, he had he basically said in his interview today that he wants to be more like Alvin Kamara, more like Christian McCaffrey, is kind of being a jack of all trades out of the backfield, being able to run it up the gut, take it to the outside, catch it out of the backfield, be a part of the passing game in different ways, things like that. That is super nice to hear coming from our second year running back in J.K. Dobbins, man. I think he's primed to have a beast of a season, man. I think he could probably finish as a top 7 running back, top 7, top 8. He might surprise a lot of people, man.
And if he, like that's the only part he was missing in his game
Yeah,
was the catching out the backfield. And when he caught out the backfield, he would make something happen. Just if he gets those hands right, he had all summer to do it. I
right.
think I think we're gonna see a different type of J.K. Dobbins. And
I think so
also
too.
I think outside of just J.K. and Gus, whoever's behind them too, because they now have, Gus is out with COVID.
Hmm.
This is the chance for you to show that you can make the team as our third running back or a fourth. I mean, you can challenge Justice Hill. You can challenge in the special teams, or you can just challenge for practice squad, which I think is huge.
Yeah,
So that could be a blessing in disguise for some of these young guys too.
you're right. Absolutely right about that. We got our guys from Lunch Break Hot Take in the building. Says hashtag Rain
Yo,
Gang. What up, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
yes,
All right, let's see. We got our super chat donation coming in from G Money himself,
money.
Gerald Lawson. We appreciate you for coming through as always. He says, all I have to say is I can't wait for September 13th. What up, PRP? What's up,
What's up,
Gerald? How
Gerald?
you doing,
I
man?
can't wait either.
Appreciate you. Yeah. Oh, man. Season is right around the corner. Listen, there's
The
football
first
on next
preseason
week.
game, yeah, next week.
Next week. Our guy Ramey says Justin Madubuike looks super lean, looks more like an outside linebacker than an interior D lineman. And you love to see it,
And
man.
that's
You
what
love
we
to
like
see
to
it.
hear.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Raven Ron says, who was disrespecting Marlon Humphrey? What did I miss? So it
Jalen
was
Ramsey
Jalen Ramsey and PFF, right?
and Madden, and with his
And
rating,
Matt. Oh, they gave Humphrey a 92 rating. Top 5, but
yeah,
number 5.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's whatever, man. This is like a conspiracy theory that EA hates the Ravens for whatever reason.
He hates
But you
himself
know,
sometimes. Yeah,
but yeah, let's see. It's moving right along here. Ramey says, I was there first day and didn't see JK drop a ball. He was even catching some passes at the intermediate level when he was lining up out wide.
let me
Yeah.
get J.K. on
Oh, man.
Texas route, bro. Cut in, go over the middle. Like I want to see J.K. one-on-one with a linebacker because last time a linebacker stepped to him, J.K. literally stepped over Malik Harrison. We love you, Malik. We do love you, but he
Yeah.
jumped over him.
Mossed him. Mossed him.
Yeah.
But, man, that's why, like, I don't know, man. This season is going to be so interesting to watch because we have so many weapons on our team. It's not just Lamar Jackson. It's really, really not, man. It's like I'm so excited to see what we do with it. Hopefully, we can have a more balanced attack while still not forgetting who we are as a running team. Because I would love to see J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards just have crazy good years. That's what I really want to see the most, man. And I know I've said I'm super excited for guys like Rashad Bateman and see what Sammy Watkins can do for us. But the heart of the Ravens offense is and always has been running the football, And I know Lamar Jackson's going to have a lot less design runs this season because it only makes sense for him not to, considering the fact that we do have more receivers now and the fact that we do have a beast of a running back tandem. One of 2 who we just signed to a contract
Underrated.
in Gus Edwards,
Underrated.
Exactly. So I'm super excited to see what we can do out of the backfield, not including Lamar Jackson's legs. But yeah. All right. Let's see. John James here says Rain Gang. What's up, John? How you doing, man?
Coming through.
Yeah. Let's see. Adit Mahmood says if Huntley shows out, what would be his hypothetical trade value? A 5th round pick?
Nah, I don't want to trade him. But how it is, I mean, a fourth or a fifth, the way DaCosta will fleece team, if he got a 5th for a backup kicker, what could he get for a backup quarterback that had showed out? I'd say a 4th and max. The least, maybe a 6. 4 through a 6.
I think you got to also define like what do you mean by show out? Huntley shows out what in preseason? Like just
True.
you just dotting up
I mean,
defenses because
RG3
I
is
don't.
out there if they want that.
You said RG3.
You can get RG3. He's still out there.
He's still out there now, man. I think I'm good on RG3. Uh, let's see. Joshua Brown says, I think James Crochet will make the team, and I think Miles Boykin won't. I haven't heard anything about Miles. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, man. We haven't heard anything about Miles Boykin, or Devin Duvernay for that matter. But we did hear a lot about James Crochet today. He had a couple good plays, which is very promising to hear because we didn't see a whole lot of James Crochet at all last season, except for on special teams. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
And even he
That would
lost
just
that.
be so. That would be so weird to me if Crochet made the team and Boykin didn't. Just because, like I said, I'm looking at production, man. When Miles Boykin was in the game, no, he wasn't like that X factor receiver by any stretch of the imagination, but he did make some plays. He did make some important plays here and there, a lot more than James Crochet did. So it's like
Yeah.
that's why it's so interesting to see like how the Ravens are going to carry this. If they get rid of Miles Boykin, then obviously he just wasn't enough, and they believe that James Crochet can be more impactful. Do you think James Crochet can honestly be more impactful in the Ravens offense than Miles Boykin?
I mean, potentially wise, yeah, but until right now, Boykin's more crucial to the offense than Crochet is for
Yeah.
good reason. I mean, how many touchdowns did he have last year on that stretch? One against Jags, Cowboys, Bengals, I believe. So yeah, he had 3 on that stretch. He went winning out last year. And the year before, he had a couple, had a big 4th down conversion against the Rams to kind of seal the game when it was already over. But Crochet has been targeted twice. 1 for 11 yards, wide open, great route running, and 1 picked off for 6. So with that being said, we can't really say it now. We have to see preseason because I'm gonna be honest, Crochet and Boykin will be going against the same competition. They'll be on the field at the same time, playing the same corners. Then we can see, okay, who's gonna make the team, who's better,
Right.
and then. But until right now, I mean, training camp. Obviously, the edge right now is gonna be Boykin, and it's kind of his to lose. I think it really is his to lose.
Boykin's job to lose.
Yeah, especially the special teams too is huge. He'll play gun sometimes. So yeah, it's definitely his to lose.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Let's see. Christopher Swain says those wide receivers are doing some good drills out there, having to explode from a squat that'll really work on coming out of your breaks explosively. Yeah, man. We already know the Ravens. They have such a great coaching staff there, like Keith Williams, T. Martin. They know exactly what they're doing in terms of getting these guys in good football shape, good wide receiver shape, and just doing workouts and things like that that just translate well onto the football field. So, like I said, man, this receiving core is definitely something I'm excited about as well. If I had to rank them, I'd probably say I'm most excited about our backfield, seeing what J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards do this year. Then second, I would say the receiving core and what they're going to do with the Keith Williams, T. Martin, all the new additions on the receiving core as well. And then third, that defense, man, that D line. Those would be my top 3. But I agree with you, Chris Swain. Those workouts do look pretty good. All about that muscle memory, like Ramey says.
Yeah.
Facts. But yeah. Okay. So that is Ravens training camp. We talked a little bit about the standouts and everything like that. Who's been balling out so far, who we haven't heard from so far, and who, really hasn't been balling out yet. But we will see more live in action on Saturday. For those of you guys who are going, Simply and I will be there at M&T Bank Stadium watching the Ravens practice. So hope to see you guys there. But yeah, I think next we wanted to get into a little bit about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah,
Have you heard
cool.
about? Yeah. Like, have you heard about the newest talks about that?
It's called out their whole front office, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. They deserved it. It was coming for a while.
Yeah. And do you like how Aaron Rodgers is really carrying it though? As in like the
Yeah, I love it.
whole
I love it right now.
last dance, everything.
He's earned it. 16 years there, brought you a Super Bowl, consistently had you guys a competitor. When he went out, they were terrible. And then last year puts up numbers like we haven't seen before. And then you kind of disrespect him along with their veterans. I mean, he's a quarterback. You want to keep your quarterback happy, and you kind of let go of his favorite guys. I mean,
Yeah.
receivers, not like we're talking about his favorite safety, his favorite defensive lineman. No, we're talking about his receivers. Imagine what Mahomes would do if he lost Tyreek Hill. Hypothetical. Or if he lost
Right.
Travis Kelce.
Right.
I mean, Randall Cobb isn't in that, I guess, range, but it's still that's one of his guys. He can make plays from at big times. So my respect for Aaron Rodgers is raised after that last night or yesterday.
Well, I mean, so you don't think that like Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career with the Green Bay Packers, he doesn't have one foot out the door, and that's going to affect his play this season?
Oh, it's not going to affect his play. I don't think it will. Definitely one foot out the door, but the front office did that to himself. I mean, he gave perfect answers. Like the players would take pay cuts, then they would cut them. They let Woodson go, Jordy Nelson, Cobb, Julius Peppers, and the next year Peppers goes to Carolina. Oh yeah, 11 sacks. Like the Packers were kind of shooting themselves in the foot, and they were still competing. Like, what could you have done with these guys on the team too? That's kind of what I got out of it. I mean, it was coming in. Also, I looked up last night. They were trying to get Eric DeCosta. DeCosta said he would only go to the Packers because that's like who he wanted to be the GM for, but they picked the guy they have now over DeCosta. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise. Meanwhile, our quarterback loves our GM, and their quarterback hates their GM. So kind of funny how things work out.
Yeah. You're right about that. It's just, there would be nothing more badass than like Aaron Rodgers saying he's doing the whole last dance thing, doing that press conference yesterday, kind of airing his dirty laundry with the Packers organization, and then going out and winning a Super Bowl this season and then leaving. That would be, there would be nothing crazier than that.
Saying it in like the parade or like them interviewing. I love that. It'd be awesome.
Oof. He'd be,
or like he faces his demons, beats Tom Brady in the championship. He can't win the championship. That's facing your demons.
You talk about a storyline. That is a storyline, man. Yeah. Like going into the season, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are going to be under a very, very fine magnifying glass, man. They're going to be waiting to see what he does on the field because the critics are going to be on his ass if he doesn't perform. If he doesn't perform, they're going to be on his ass for sure.
And what's even funnier is that he literally forced their front office to trade for Randall Cobb. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers made the Packers front office his bitch, and I love it. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah. Let's see. Zeke Okage says, "What's good, Rain Gang?" What's up, Zeke? Thank you for just coming through, joining the stream. Let's see what you guys are saying here about Raven Ron says, "When you made $240 million in your career, yeah, speaking your mind will come easy." Facts. I like it. Our guy Void is in the house. What's up, Void? How you doing? All right. Chris Reed says, "I'm gonna say it. I got the Packers in the Super Bowl. Maybe a little biased, but I believe it's Ravens and Packers." Okay, Chris. Bold predictions.
I mean, I'm actually looking forward. I think we're going to lose to them in the regular season. I think it's one of my losses. I mean, with Rodgers playing, that's going to be such a good game. Oh, what a game.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see us losing that game.
Really?
Yeah, because the Packers, they're one of those teams that hasn't seen Lamar Jackson yet. So I think they're going to be taken by surprise. And that's later in the season when our offensive line, hopefully barring any injuries, that's when our offensive line should truly be meshed to the point where they're kind of, working as a cohesive unit. With that being said, I think Lamar Jackson could definitely go off for 3-4 touchdowns that game. I really do. And we win that game. But that's just my prediction. We'll have an episode of the Purple Rain podcast where we talk about that. Maybe we'll bring this back up, whatever. But I think I got us winning that game, bro. I do.
Okay. It'll be a good game either way.
Yeah, absolutely. Don C says, "What's up, Sutton and Alex?" What's up, Don?
What's up, Don? How you doing?
Yeah, let us know. All right. So I think with that being said, we can go ahead and fire up the question segment of the night. My favorite segment, personally, where you guys can just ask us anything, any and everything that you want to, whether it be about Ravens football, whether it be about NFL, other teams, whether it be about other sports. The NBA draft just started. If you want to ask us about that, I mean, probably won't know too much, but you can ask. It's the Rain Gang question segment. You can ask us anything that you want to. So make sure you guys leave your questions down below in the live chat room. If you are not watching live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, make sure you leave your comments, questions, and concerns down below in the comment section. Also, you can now find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and a couple other streaming platforms as well. So if you like to listen to your podcasts, you can do that as well. Just go on there and type in at the Purple Rain Podcast. You see it when you see the our little logo, the cloud and the purple rain. You'll know. So let's see. Don C says, caress that like button. Flock, yeah, caress it. Caress that like button. For sure. All right. So let's see what questions we have from you guys in here. First one's going to come from Raven. Ron says, you think Tylan Wallace puts Boykin further down the depth chart?
Oh, yeah. Wallace is locked to make it, I think. You don't draft a guy in the 5th round, I think.
Yeah.
You're going to draft him and then cut him. Unless it's like terrible. But I think. Oh, wait. You think Wallace? Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah, I do. I do think he puts him further down the depth chart.
It just feels like we're doing Miles Boykin so dirty, man. And it's just like, I don't like it because he's like I said, he's made plays where he's been here. He just hasn't really panned out to be the receiver we thought he was going to be. So that's why it's so disappointing. It's just like, all right, let's move on from this guy. Kind of like Brashad Perriman 2.0, that sort of thing. But no, he's actually better than Brashad Perriman was. He's just not quite the guy that we would want him to be. So do I think that Tylan Wallace was Boykin further down the depth chart? As of today, I'm going to say no. And like we said, training camp just started, so we'll just have to give it some time, see what happens with these guys moving forward. Maybe Boykin can have a good day in the next couple of days, and, we're having a different conversation. But thank you for your question, Raven Ron. We have another super chat donation, which we will get to right now. Jabari Cruz Ellis, thank you for coming through, joining the stream, and for donating to the channel. We appreciate you. He says, Rodgers came into his press with that black Air Force One energy, huh, guys?
Yeah.
How worried do you think the Packers organization feels right now? Oh, I don't think they're worried at all.
I mean, I think they're going to be shaking in their boots after this year. I mean, they've had such an easy task. Like, it's really hard to mess that team up.
I mean, they're just going to have to bank on Jordan Love, man. Groom him, get him ready, because it's coming. I think it's like...
Do you also see why Rodgers was mad? Because he never really was like kind of talked about what they were going to do. I mean, Lamar he wanted Jerry Jeudy or Hollywood Brown drafted. And what did the Ravens do? Listen to him. And when it comes to that contract time, I think that can be another thing. Like, we'll keep you in the loop we do in the offense. I think that's huge with Porter. You got to keep your quarterback happy. The Packers just didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. I mean, you can't have the quarterback to franchise relationship should truly be a partnership. If you have a really good quarterback, you got to listen to him because a lot of the team's success is coming through him, So it is what it is. The Packers, they're going to have to, they made their bed. They're going to have to lay in it now. And they know that. Yeah. So, but thank you so much for your super chat donation, Jabari. We appreciate you each and every time. Let's see. Our next question is going to come from Darius, the official. Says, are y'all watching the NBA draft? I barely know anybody this year. No, I'm not watching the NBA draft, but I did just get the notification that the Detroit Pistons picked Cade Cunningham with the first overall pick. And I was actually watching some highlights of his earlier. He's actually pretty good. I think he's like 6'7", 6'8", can do it all. So we'll see. But no, not watching the draft right now, though. John James says, do y'all think Conor McGregor should retire? For me, I think he should retire from mixed martial arts. I think it's too much for him at this point to just kind of mentally and physically prepare himself, especially considering how busy he is as a businessman. Like, he just doesn't have the time to put in the work, and he's just not as hungry as these other guys who are coming up in the sport. Now, I do think that he can make a pretty easy transition over into boxing and actually make a lot more money while keeping the risk a lot lower as well. He wouldn't have to worry about breaking his legs in fights. He wouldn't have to worry about getting taken down. He can do exactly what he wants to do, which is just exchange hands, just throw hands. Yeah. And it's a lot safer. So I think he should retire from MMA and start boxing.
I'd like to see that. I would agree with that. That would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Our next question is going to come from Void. Says, does Boykin have it in him, though, to go up and just snag the ball and stare down the DB just because he can? That dog.
I wish. Yeah. We haven't seen it, like him mossing somebody. Actually, we saw once. Like, it was against the Rams, like a third down play. Like, RG3 just hauled it up, and he came down with it. That's the only time I can really think of him doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, we've never really seen Miles Boykin, quote unquote, in his bag, so to say.
Yeah.
You know, never seen that side of him. So I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have. It's not in everybody. It's not in everybody. So maybe he just doesn't have that side. All right, we'll take a few more questions from you guys here. Come on, guys. Let's get these questions going down here in the chat.
I know Click One put one in. Really, really good one.
What do you say? I must have missed it.
Ask us what we saw, what Max Kellerman said.
Oh, I see. Here we go. Yeah. Says, did you guys see what Max Kellerman said? He said there's 6 AFC teams better than the Ravens. He thinks the Chiefs, Bills, Browns, Titans, Dolphins, Patriots are better. I only think the Chiefs and Bills. Wow. Wow, that is idiotic.
Dolphins.
Hold on, let me read that again. Chiefs, Bills, Browns, Titans, who we just beat, Dolphins, and Patriots. Okay. All right, so let's break this down, right? So we can concede, we can defer that Chiefs, Bills, sure, whatever. Browns, nah, I can't say that. They haven't beat us since 2019, so I can't.
Actually, I just want to just real quick. I'm gonna pull this up. September 29th, 2019. The last time the Browns beat the Ravens.
Yeah. Yeah.
September 29th. We didn't know what masks were. We didn't know what these vaccines were. We didn't know what COVID was. Life
that
was
long
different.
ago. Very, 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 very different. And I was actually there that game. Very sad day. But that was the last time that the Browns beat the Ravens. So for them to say that the Browns are a better team than the Ravens, I mean, on paper, anybody will fall in love with the Browns.
They've been better than us on paper for the past 2 years, for me honest.
Exactly.
On paper.
Exactly. I mean, the Cowboys are better on paper than a lot of teams, but you see how they perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know about that one. Moving on, the Titans. We just beat the Titans. You know, got them out of there in the playoffs.
Who's on the defense? Bud Dupree coming back from ACL surgery.
Yeah.
Not scary.
I mean, their defense isn't terrible. But I definitely think that the Titans, that's another head scratcher because we solved the riddle. We held Derrick Henry, their number one secret weapon, to how many yards? 40 yards?
40 or 40.
In a playoff game.
18 for 40.
This is Derrick Henry who just rushed for 2,000 yards, and we kept him to 40 yards in that playoff game. So I think we kind of cracked that code. So moving on from that, Dolphins.
Tua can't aim.
The Dolphins? Saying that the Dolphins are a better team than the Baltimore Ravens is basically a slap in the face to Lamar Jackson because you're saying that.
I just hope the team sees this.
Yeah, because you're saying that Tua on his own can win more games than Lamar Jackson can on his own for their respective teams, and that's just silly. They literally benched Tua in clutch times to bring in Ryan Fitzpatrick last year, so that doesn't make any sense. Patriots.
Who's their quarterback?
Again, we don't even know who's going to be quarterback by week 3. Jacoby Myers.
I mean, I know you got Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar, but is that really what?
Are we getting excited over that? Over Nelson Aguilar? Sir drops a lot.
He was catching them. Unlike Aguilar.
Right. Come on, man. Come on, Max. Max is just hot take Max here.
I just think ESPN's having that man do too much. He forgot. He didn't get sleep that night.
Yeah, obviously. All right, but moving on here. See, Edward George says, what are you guys most excited for this season? The wide receiving core or pass rush?
Receiver core for me, easily.
Definitely receiving core. Because we've made a lot of moves to improve our receiving core. We've
seen a really good Ravens pass rush. You know, Dumerville and Suggs. I mean, Suggs and Smith.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a really good receiving core since at least 2014.
Right. Okay. Let's take 1 or 2 more questions here, then we will wrap for you guys. Jabari Cruz Ellis also says, how much stock on Crochet has improved after today's practice? I mean, I think his stock is going up. Anything positive from James Crochet will make his stock rise, only because we've only seen a couple of different things from him, like in his entire career. So, you know, I think that, you know, definitely what happened today, it is going to have his stock going up by like super default. and hopefully he can continue to have good days. Let's see. Chris Reed says, what do y'all think about next year's draft? Y'all look at any early prospects at the edge position? Not yet, man. Not yet.
I could care less about the draft. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about the draft right now.
We gotta do one thing at a time here, Chris. You know, college, we'll let those guys do their thing, and then by the time that those guys are ready to declare for the draft or whatever, then we'll start talking about them. But I haven't taken a look at those guys yet. Not yet. But yeah. All right. Don C, we're gonna wrap it up. He says, "Who is this Westry guy? They're all hyping at a camp today." Isn't he a DB?
Yeah. I think it's Chris Westry. Chris Westry.
Westry or Westry? Yeah.
He picked up Tyler Huntley. He's a 6'4" defensive back. I'm gonna have to get a video together for him.
Yeah.
He's cracking down on Jalen Moore too. He's making plays every time the ball's thrown his way.
Yeah.
This is reminding me of a Jalen Hill years ago. Like we heard all about him in like training camp preseason. I hope he can make the team and stay healthy. I mean, I love hearing stories like this.
Yeah, me too, honestly. We'll see what happens. Like I said, preseason is going to tell us everything, right? It's going to tell us everything that we need to know. It's not going to be necessarily Ravens versus who do we play in the preseason? You know? Can't remember off the top of my head.
Saints, Panthers, Washington.
Yeah, so it's not going to be Ravens versus Saints or Ravens versus Panthers or Ravens versus Washington. It's really going to be Ravens versus Ravens to see who can make this final roster. Yeah. You know, so I'm definitely excited to see what we can do there. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap with that. We appreciate you guys for all your questions in the questions segment and for coming through to this episode 64 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure before you go, make sure you like the video. Also subscribe as well. Please. Follow us on Instagram. You can scan the QR code above my head here or just search at the Purple Rain podcast like you see on the bottom of the ticker. Oh, and if you can't see us and you're listening, that's because you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, like Alex said. Hi, we appreciate you guys as well. So yeah, this has been episode 64 of the Purple Rain podcast. One more time, we will see you guys, hopefully some of you guys on Saturday at the Ravens training camp at M&T Bank Stadium. Yeah, definitely DM us. One last time, you can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. Shoot me a follow, shoot me a DM. Maybe we can link up that day. Or Simply AS10, you can find him on Twitter at Simply AS10 or on Instagram at simplyas10.prod. Again, like I said, we appreciate you guys for watching this episode or listening. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
And as always, thank you for coming through the Purple Rain podcast. We are 1 week closer to football. Like, we're getting there. Yes, we're getting there.
1 week.
But until then, as always, stay positive, test negative, and
most importantly, call God. We're going to catch you guys